Welcome back to the Light Up Your Life podcast. I'm your host, Samantha Peters, and today on the show, I'm joined by Ira Kaganovsky. She's an entrepreneur, speaker, breast cancer survivor, and she's the founder of Freedom. After building a successful career in finance and scaling her own business, Ira's life shifted when she was diagnosed with breast cancer, and that experience transformed how she views success, health, and then also leadership. And now she's helping high performers understand how the habits drive their success may actually be making them sick and how to create sustainable success without burnout. So, welcome to the show. I'm very excited to have you today.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Samantha. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Yeah. So, I want us to go back in time and talk about your diagnosis and what was going through your mind during those moments.
First of all, this was not supposed to happen to me. And I think that was the best thing that was going through. That was what was going through my head. I started this company, Freedom, when my three friends were diagnosed with breast cancer. And I had no breast cancer in my family. In fact, no cancer in my family. Everybody died of heart attacks in my family. So it was just not on the radar. And I started this company specifically because I have three daughters and I wanted to make sure that everything they put on their body was clean. Because your skin is your largest organ, which a lot of people don't realize. It absorbs everything you put on it. So little did I know, I mean, never in a million years. I had my mammograms every 6 months. I had very dense breasts. Um, and I'll come back to that and explain why that's super important. Um, I had kids. I had none of the signs until I did, right? All my mammograms were clean. All my ultrasounds were clean, but I did have a lot of cysts. I was very cystic. So I've had biopsies before. And when I felt the lump, which was in my top right quadrant, which is one of the most common places for the breast cancer to show up, it was different than the other ones because usually when you have a cyst, it's rounder and softer and you can push down on it. This was like a pebble. It felt like the top of your nail almost, like it had a sharp, jagged edge to it, which I found really interesting and different. But guess what? When they did the mammogram, it was clean. It didn't show anything. So
Wow.
I pushed. I was the advocate. I was like, well, if it's not, there's something there. So can we use another diagnostic form? And we did an ultrasound. And it was about 2 weeks later after we did the ultrasound and they wanted to do a biopsy that I got the phone call as I was getting off a plane in Dubai. Out of all
Oh my
places,
gosh.
when my doctor said it was breast cancer. So yeah, it was, wait a minute, I'm healthy. I take care of myself. I do the mammograms. I do everything you guys have told me to do. I don't even eat meat. I don't even eat carbs. Why? So, yeah, I think it was what was going through my head was absolute disbelief.
I can't even imagine. So that's interesting that none of your family had cancer previously. Actually, my mother, my aunt, and my grandma all had breast cancer. So I'm crazy about my health and wellness. And I've actually heard, and I don't know how true this is because I'm not a doctor, but I also heard that a lot of mammograms also can enhance your ability to get cancer because of all the radiation that it's putting in your body.
First of all, please don't believe that. Okay.
Okay.
Because it has saved more lives than it has caused issues. Okay. So, I mean, anything can, right? I mean, they tell you the TSA, walking through TSA, using your cell phone, all of these things
Mhm.
enhance cancer. I would tell anyone because I've had friends that didn't do mammograms and went and did alternatives. And I got a phone call almost every single time going, oh my God, I think they found something. And when they went and did other tests, real FDA approved tests, it was nothing. And they were terrified. And the stress level was beyond belief. So I would always say, yes, do your annual mammogram. Okay. Because it's such a minimal amount. And you really do want to see if something's in there. But I'm going to pat it with something else. You have to, and you should do an ultrasound if you have dense breasts. Because having dense breasts, which is 50% of the population, when they look at the breast under a mammogram, it looks like that, just white.
Mhm.
Guess what color the tumor is when it's under a mammogram? It's white. So when you have dense breasts, you won't be able to see that tumor as well. So mammograms are very tough when you have dense breasts. So I would always go for an ultrasound, or in your situation where you do have a family history, do a baseline MRI. Because in the world of AI, they are tracking that so much better now, and the MRIs really can see a lot more.
I actually used to work for a doctor and he started Breast Thermography Institute. So he's really big on doing a thermogram as well because that detects the heat differentiation and cancer cells give off more heat than regular cells. And so it's all supposed to help detect cancer up to 8 to 10 years before a mammogram because in a mammogram, you have to have the anatomy, you have to have the cyst. I definitely want to get a baseline of that. And I'm really curious when you were diagnosed, how old were you?
48.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh, you look
So,
so young. I would have
oh,
said
I love you. I'm
I
52.
would have said 40.
Oh my
Wow,
God, I
that's
love you.
amazing.
But I will tell you the fastest growing um, population of women that are getting diagnosed right now is under 40. Fastest growing. We had an 18-year-old join our breast cancer group recently, which is like,
So
and,
crazy.
and I'll tell you something very interesting too. You know, we're messing with our hormones so much with so many different things. And by the way, I'm going to include stress as part of that, right? And I'm going to give you a different version of that because a lot of people are like, meditate, take care of yourself, well being. But there's a level like I used to work out like crazy. I did marathons, I did tough mutters, I did these hot yoga and, intensive like boot camp stuff and whatnot. And that actually stresses your body quite a bit. And if you're not giving yourself a chance to recuperate from that, and you're just stacking it up, and then you're worried about what you eat and what you drink and what you do, that's stress too. So trying to stay healthy is actually stressing us a lot more. I look at my father, who's 80 years old, and he is 80 going on 27. He is the happiest go luckiest guy in the world. He wasn't extremely successful business wise, but he's got a nice house. He takes care of my mom. She takes care of him. They've been married for 50 plus years and he doesn't sweat the small stuff. He just doesn't. He's just happy to be alive every day. He's the most jovial and he'll go to McDonald's, he'll drink a Starbucks. He doesn't care if it's organic or not. I think there's a level that we're missing nowadays of trying to be so perfect and so healthy that we kind of miss our life,
I
if
agree
that
with
makes
that.
any sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when that was a big turning point for me when I got sick because I was like, I was doing everything right, right? I was doing everything right. I was fit, I was working out, I was eating well, I was this, that. And I remember that if I didn't eat well, how stressed out I was. Oh my God, I just ate that. I need to go work out, double workouts the next day. Or this or that, or I have to keep up with the Joneses, this, that. And the funny thing is, cancer gave me freedom from all of that.
Really powerful. I agree. I think in today's society, you're right. Everything needs to look perfect, what you need to eat, what you have to wear, what your skin looks like. And so we're up against so many things. And I know from doing a bunch of research and having so many doctors on my podcast, a lot of times it's a lot of your childhood and the trauma that you went through that also gets stored in your body. And so it's
Yes.
working through all of these things and like you said, not putting so much stress on yourself and finding ways to relax. And I mean, it's been a really big part of my lifestyle now is just regulating my nervous system. So I'm curious when I know the first question I asked you was about your diagnosis. So I want to know what treatments you went through. And I know while you were going through your treatments, you were also running a business, you were also
I was.
raising three daughters. So I really
Yeah.
also want to know what resilience looked like for you during that time.
So it's interesting because, you get the diagnosis and you're in shock. I mean, there's no other way to put it. You're in shock and your mind goes everywhere, right? And you kind of have to pull that back. And it's almost like, I hate this term, but I use it all the time. It's like, how do you eat an elephant? First of all, you should never eat an elephant. But the whole point of it is one bite at a time. And I stress this to anybody who has a diagnosis. Don't get too far ahead. If you want to get ahead, though, look at what you want at the end. Like, this is the entrepreneur mindset. Like, oh, I'm building a business. Therefore, at the end, I want to sell the business or I want to have it for 30 years or I want to partner and grow it into this business, right? You have that set up before you start a business, or you should. So when I was diagnosed in my head, I was like, I want to see my kids graduate. I want to be cancer free. So that's all that was there. So it was like, okay, now let's figure out how to do that. Let's work backwards. What do I need to do? We have this tumor. Okay, we need to remove it. Are we sure we have all of it? Do we see all of it? That was the big thing first. So it was no question for me that I was going to do a double mastectomy. I wasn't taking any chances. We've already, seen that it, this tumor was hiding. It couldn't be seen. So I said, we're not taking any chances. We're going to get it out. The next step was, what if there's any residual? Because one thing that people don't talk about with cancer is that it's got a very high reoccurrence rate. I'm sure you've heard stories of somebody had cancer and, oh my God, it came back. Cancer coming back is about a 30 to 40% reoccurrence rate, depending on the cancer. That's scary,
Yeah.
right?
Well, because they're
So,
treating the symptom when they remove the tumor, you have to get to the root cause of what actually was happening.
well, it's not even that. We all have cancer cells, right? And
Mhm.
most of them lie dormant, and we don't really know what wakes them up. We'll take care of what's in front of us right now, but now we got to figure out what wakes them up. And on top of it, so I did chemo, I did radiation, along with all of those. And I believe in the Eastern and Western approach. I did high dose vitamin C infusions during my chemo. I fasted during chemo, which kept my side effects next to nothing. I really didn't have the nausea that everybody talked about. In fact, I was doing 7-mile bike rides right after chemo. And in between,
It's amazing.
I did lose my hair, which is fine. It came back even better. Um, I pushed my doctor on supplements that I could take during chemo to make me feel better and to make sure I didn't have nerve damage. And they recommended 3 great supplements. I'm not going to tell them what they are, but just because everybody has different chemo regimes and I don't want people going and getting this because, oh, Ira said so. No, you should talk to your doctor. Your doctor should tell you.
Mhm.
And I had a wonderful doctor that did believe in both sides of the aisle, the holistic side and the medical side. So we did the chemo. I felt great through chemo. I did get septic at one point because I got an infection from the incision of my double mastectomy. So we had to fight that off, and we did. 10 days in the hospital, we did. So I did chemo, radiation, and I had 7 surgeries. They actually used my back lat muscles to rebuild my front, which was crazy. So, which is funny because if I ever itch my front right here, I kind of feel it in my back, which is really weird. So
Interesting.
I don't have lats. I'm not going to be doing pull-ups anytime soon. They took a few lymph nodes, so I do a lot of lymphatic massages. I believe in massages, oh, so much. So I took both sides of the aisle. I've fortunately belonged to Las Vegas Breast Cancer Warriors. It's a support group for breast cancer patients, and the reason I am a big proponent about talking about the holistic only is because I've seen people try to sell stuff to our warriors and our warriors that have gone holistic, that have gone stage 4 because of it. And we've tried to save their lives after the fact. And nobody talks about that. It's almost like how everybody talks about how you win at poker all the time, but nobody talks about how much you actually lose, right?
Mhm.
So I believe in both sides. I believe you need a strong mind over matter. I think the way you think during treatment, during cancer, during all of it is 70% of the battle.
Yeah, from my perspective, I think it might be a lot more, but I haven't been through it, but I've seen my family go through it. I've talked to doctors, I've had leading biohackers on my podcast. It is a lot of your mindset, and
Oh,
I think people
huge.
are going to heal the way that they want to be healed. So if people believe in the Western medicine and they want to go that route, and then some people believe in just doing holistic things. But yeah, I definitely think it's great recommendation to look at both sides of it and get different perspectives. So when you were going through your diagnosis, did you seek multiple doctors and did you seek
Yeah,
um, multiple opinions? Okay.
I did. I did. So I worked with an integrative doctor who's holistic, and he's an oncologist as well. I went to MD Anderson um, to get a second opinion, which is the leading, cancer specialist. I mean, I had a 10-centimeter tumor. Let's start there. So I had a 10-centimeter tumor. This bad boy was this big. Okay. So they called it the monster. That's what we nicknamed it. So we're not playing around. Like this
Mhm.
guy's huge. So what was causing my body to let this guy grow? We got to start there. Right. And for me, I had an ER positive breast cancer, which is estrogen and progesterone positive breast cancer. hormonal. 75% of breast cancer is hormonal. Did you know that?
I didn't know. I know it had a lot to do with it, but that's a really big percentage.
75% is hormonal. So think about it. When people go through IVF, throws off your hormones, right? Which is a leading cause right now. And this is why a lot of younger women are getting diagnosed as well. So many things. When you're stressed out, your cortisol levels are through the roof, your hormones are off. Perimenopause, we try to do all these different supplements and this and that. Supplements are not FDA regulated. I use supplements, right? But I'm very careful of the ones I go with. Not FDA regulated. And we load up on this stuff, not realizing what it actually does to our body or any of the side effects that it has. So for me, in my case, in my opinion, was my stress and the stress of trying to do everything. I'm a single mom to three daughters. I take care of my kids. I take care of their friends. I take care of my parents. I take care of the work. I take care of my employees. I take care of the community. I try to date. I don't do that very successfully at all. But I'm working on that. You're trying to do your social life, your pets, your home. Um, you have so many things on your plate on a daily
Mhm.
basis. And the last person I was taking care of was myself. So flipping that script and actually living a calmer life, starting the day with myself. And I'll tell you about that a little bit more. I start the day with myself and I end the day with myself. And then everybody else kind of fits in the middle.
Mhm. Priorities.
Priorities 100%.
I really like that. I find a lot of times in this society, it teaches us that women have to take on the masculine role, right? Women empowerment. And I'm all about women being able to do what they want, but sometimes it puts so much stress on your body. I mean, I experience that too now. I'm running a business, running a podcast, I'm a speaker, I'm an author, I'm doing all of these things. And it's like you have to slow down. And so I completely understand what you're saying. It's not easy. And then getting your diagnosis on top of it.
Believe it or not, it made me step back. The diagnosis made me stop because nothing else was going to stop me in my tracks. Think about it. What's going to stop you in your tracks? It has to
Yeah,
be a diagnosis,
getting sick.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because otherwise you're not going to listen to it. You're like, oh no, I could do everything. There's an
Mhm.
interesting statistic. 100 years ago, men took care of 90% of the home and 10% of the outside. The husband took care of 90% of the outside, financial, and 10% of the home, like fixing up stuff in the house. 100 years later, women take care of 90% of the home. We also take care of 90% of the outside that we
Yes.
never did. So we doubled our
Completely.
workload. And what's interesting is 80% of autoimmune disease is in women.
Mhm.
And let's break that down. Autoimmune disease is when your body attacks your body, right? Something's not working inside. So, a great one is diabetes. Diabetes is an autoimmune disease. Rheumatoid arthritis, inflammation, autoimmune disease. 80% is in women. So, if that doesn't tell you how much we're holding inside, how much we're holding on our shoulders, right? We're holding the whole world on our shoulders. And what's happening is we're killing ourselves. Women, though, do go to the doctor and we do try to figure out how to live longer. And I had a great conversation with somebody I coached recently, and they're like, I'm on the peptide, I'm on the GLP-1. And I'm like, you're like this big, but okay. Um, you're on the GLP-1, you're on the peptide, you're on the supplement, you're on this, you're on that. And I said to her, I go, can you take me through your day? And she did. And the funny thing is, there was no downtime. She got up when her kids got up and she got everything ready and everybody gone. Then she was at the office and then she took care of her husband and then this and that. And then she's like, well, my husband and I, we split up who puts the kids to get down on what day. And I said, but you're doing all this other stuff. She goes, yeah. So I'm gonna optimize my health and I'm gonna optimize me. And I said, but you're putting a band-aid on a gash.
Mhm.
I go, you're gonna keep putting stuff in there and that gash is gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger, right? Because once you put something in your body, something else has got to get removed, right? Because your
Mhm.
body's a beautiful thing. It knows what to do. And when you start putting stuff into it, it doesn't know what to do. It reacts. Believe it or not, the reason I found that out is antiperspirant. Can we talk about antiperspirant for a second?
Yes.
Weird segue, right? Okay. Do you use antiperspirant?
Only do very, very clean products that are completely organic, that don't have any sulfates. Yeah. So I'm
Good.
very clean with everything I use.
Good. Okay. So when we started, Freedom is a natural deodorant company, and everything we make is all you can eat our products. They taste like crap. Please don't eat our deodorant, but you can. When I was doing research on antiperspirant, because antiperspirant's different than deodorant, antiperspirant's for antiperspiration, for you not to sweat. And people would say, I sweat so much, I have to use the clinical grade antiperspirant. But that's because your body gets used to it. You're clogging it up, so it tries to push out more. You sweating is your body's way of cooling you down. It's your air conditioning. And when you stop that from happening, it builds up even more. You
And
sweat
releasing
even
all the
more.
toxins.
100%. So it overworks it.
Mhm.
So I said to her, before you do all of these peptides, before you do all of this other stuff, because by the way, some of this stuff is great, right? And as we get older, really helps us a lot. I've seen fascinating things from like microdosing GLP-1s, like amazing stuff. But I said to her, what are you doing for you? Because you can't just keep ingesting and putting stuff on you. You have to actually change what you do.
Mhm.
What is making you feel like that if you can, right? Because you don't have any underliers. You're not diabetic. You're not overweight. You don't have these other struggles, but you do have a stress struggle and it's like FOMO. If you're not doing it, you need some. Why is everybody doing this and I'm not doing it? I have to be better. I have to optimize everything. Back to what we were talking about at the beginning. She had to step back and actually put her feet on the ground. You know, ground yourself, feel that energy. Take a minute and stop and have a piece of silence before the day starts. Do something for you before the day starts, before you have to do anything for everybody else. Like that could
Mhm.
be just like a great cup of coffee, right?
Yes.
It
Yeah.
could be a walk around the block. It could
Mhm.
be a meditation practice, which I love, but not everybody can do. Okay. It could be, writing in a journal. It could be y- whatever you want it to be. It doesn't
Mhm.
have to be an hour long. It could be 15 minutes. Give yourself 15 minutes. Go stand in the sun for 15 minutes.
Yes. Mhm.
Go notice a beautiful leaf you've never seen on a walk. Go listen to the birds chirping in the morning. Nobody else is invited to that party. And do that for 3 to 4 times a week, not even every day. 3 to 4 times a week. Do that for 2 weeks straight. And tell me if you haven't noticed a change in how you feel during the day.
You're going to absolutely feel a big change. I can't
Huge.
wake up without doing my morning routine, without meditating, without prayer, without enjoying my coffee. I actually did a whole reel about this. I think it was a week ago. I used to rush through my day. I was running a business. I was teaching full time. I was getting my master's. I was bartending because I didn't have anyone supporting me besides
Yep.
myself. And I would just rush and drink my coffee. And now I'm so mindful. I'm curious to know. I know that you have a morning routine, you're
Mhm.
very aligned with who you are, and you're not just rushing through your day anymore. But were there any other lifestyle changes that you made after getting your diagnosis?
Yeah. So I do a morning and I do an evening. The evening was a big one because the chemo put me into menopause right away. And
Mm,
girl, menopause is no joke. Like when they say it's a change, it's like all of a sudden you went from being this brilliant sleeper, right? Because I would fall asleep like that and I would sleep boom, boom, boom. Like I could sleep at any time of the night and I would wake up about 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. Boom, I was on my day. That was not happening. I was waking up at 3 a.m. and going, what the heck is going on? Right. And yeah, so I'm like, okay, I need to step back for a second and figure out what works for my body. So we tried melatonin, we tried gummies, THC gummies, which those are kind of fun sometimes, you know. Again, sometimes just because I hate depending on something that long. Then I put together a sleep routine that I liked. And it's consistent to what everybody tells you. Set a time. You have to have a time and you need an hour window. You need a half an hour before and a half an hour after. So if I want to sleep at 9:30 to 10, I need to be in bed by 9, right? So I have that window 9 to 10. And when I'm in bed, I am not watching TV and I do not listen to the phone. Now my phone is next to me charging on my nightstand because I have children and that freaks me out if I can't get a hold of my kids. But I do not look at that bad boy. It is there for another reason, and I'll tell you what that is in a second. So, I get People magazine. I get the smuttiest magazines because it's just turns my brain off. Or I get a fun book,
Mhm.
I'm part of a book club. So I have a fun book. And I promise you, within 10 pages of that book, I'm out like a light. But what I also do is I set a sleep story. So I have my routine is basically you get in bed, you make sure it's dark. I have to have it dark. That's just me. No TV, no blue light. I turn on a sleep story. I use the Calm app and they have great sleep stories. I found the three guys that I love listening to, and it's always about travel. So find the one that fits you, that you like listening to. And I love the deep voices, and I'll read a magazine or a book and I'll turn on a sleep story. And I swear to you, you do that. It takes a couple weeks to get that down, but I haven't been waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's been great.
Wow.
And I will
I love
sleep through
that.
the night like nobody's business. I will go from my set time is between 9:30 and 10 to 5:30 in the morning.
Okay.
And
And you're sleeping right
yeah,
through. So you're
right through.
getting your REM. That's amazing.
Oh, it's huge. My aura ring tells me, it gives me like I'm in the 90s constantly.
Okay, that's
And my
great.
sleep. Is that amazing? But I also there's a couple things that happen during the day to do that. Like, don't have caffeine past 12 o'clock. You can't. It's tough, right? If you do caffeine past 12 o'clock, it'll throw you off in the evening. Wind down. Don't work out at night, right? Because that'll wind you up. Don't eat a heavy meal past 7 o'clock. That'll
Mhm.
screw you complete. You won't be able to sleep, right? So there's little things that you have to do. Stay hydrated through the day, right? When you're dehydrated, you don't sleep as well. That was another thing that I didn't know,
Mhm.
right? So you got to factor all those things into it. And so that's helped me immensely.
Yeah, I love all those things. And it's actually just going back to simplicity instead of having all these distractions. I don't know if you eat 3 meals per day. I tend to eat two. I like to do a lot of intermittent fasting, but like you said, getting sunlight, working out in the morning, making sure you're not having caffeine after 12 o'clock. So just very easy things that we can all incorporate. So I love those. I
Yeah.
want to know after everything that you went through, has your definition of success evolved and changed?
Yes. 100%. No question. So before, when I started my company, we wanted to be here and do this and do that, and be in the stores. And no, I actually turned the company completely around. We got rid of a ton of SKUs. We focused specifically on one or two SKUs, made it really simple, stuck to one channel, and really dove deep into that one channel with a goal of just getting it to a certain level where we could partner or sell. It was no longer $100 million goal or $1 billion company, which just wasn't our goal. I don't want to kill myself again. We already tried that once. It didn't work, you know? Yeah, and I live a really great life. I sold a company prior to this as well, and I drive a minivan. I got rid of the convertible BMW, by the way, when I was sick, because I love the
Oh.
minivan. I don't care if
Mm.
anybody scratches it. It's so low maintenance. I could throw all my kids in the car. We could go on road trips. I could use it for work. I love it. I'm like, I think Mark Wahlberg was talking about how much he loves his minivan. I'm like, I get it. I get it. Right? It's just
I
super
love it.
easy.
Mhm.
Um, the level of a success was like, no, I'm doing more speaking, I'm doing more coaching. I love that. I love seeing other people succeed. That's my success, is when I see somebody that calls me and says, "Hey, listen, can I have your ear?" And I'm like, "Sure, let's go. What can we do?"
Mhm.
And to see
Yes.
them enjoying their life more, that's my mission. I remember I got asked to do a keynote right after chemo, and I showed up on stage. Samantha, you're going to love this, especially as a speaker, you're going to relate, right? You get up on stage and my bike's not working. And by the way, I had no idea what a keynote was, and I've never done this before. So I get up on stage, there's 600 people staring at me and a mic that
Wow,
doesn't
600
work.
people for your first one? That's
First one.
amazing.
But
Look at
we've
you.
had like media training and I've spoken to groups before and stuff. So I
Mhm.
wasn't scared about that. I was like, well, what do they want to know? Right. And by the time I was done, we had a line of people wanting to talk to me. Right. Because my perspective changed. It wasn't about the hustle. The hustle culture drives me crazy. The whole lean in, because we're leaning in so much, we're falling
Mhm.
over. I miss, and I really would love human connection. I love AI. Oh, I'm not going to get away from AI. Trust me. I love AI. Claude and I are like dating now,
Mhm.
right? Um, but we have to get back to what actually feeds our soul, what actually makes
Absolutely.
us feel good. And it's not about the accomplishments. It's about the connections. It's about actually relaxing and taking everything in. It's about the times that take your breath away.
Mm,
And for me, that has been just reconnecting. I love my home. I love being in my home. I love to travel. I love reconnecting with friends. And it's also putting the intentions out there of who I want to be in my life, and not doing things for other people, doing things that actually feed my soul and not
mhm.
as somebody else's. So
Yeah.
that was my freedom. Go figure that I actually own that. I own the name Freedom because it's Freedom Deodorant. So I think
Oh, I love
somebody up
it.
there, yeah, somebody up there was actually trying to tell me that I need a little freedom in my life. So that's what I try
Aw.
to impart. Yeah. Yeah.
I definitely want to try your deodorant, but that is such a beautiful story. And I think for everyone listening to this, you should really evaluate. I mean, now after every conversation, after anyone I network with, I always check to see, okay, is my cup being filled up? Do I have more energy? Am I feeling good? Or is it doing the opposite? And I think we really have to ask ourselves at every point of what we're doing, is the work that you're doing filling up your cup, or is it not? And then finding things throughout the day that you love to do. And I love how you've built your environment, your business, your entire lifestyle around the things that really fill you up with joy. I think that's so important. But I want to wrap this up with a quick this or that challenge. So, whatever comes to mind first. Are you ready?
Let's go. Let's do this.
Awesome. So, strict routine or go with your energy?
Both. Certain things that you have to have it during the day, but not strict where you're kicking your butt and you have time to enjoy your energy.
Yeah, a good in between. All right. So, work through the weekends or do you like to disappear off grid?
Off grid 24 hours at least. Um, you could work through the weekend. Sometimes I go off grid on a Tuesday, but you have to have one day a week where you're not checking emails.
Do you feel like you need to be needed by everyone or do you like to be unavailable and focused?
That's a hard one because I think for a lot of women, we people please a lot, right? So we want to be
We
available to
do.
everybody. And so that's actually been my challenge for this year for myself, which is turning off my phone to do not disturb during the day. So no, not available to everybody. Not at all.
Setting boundaries is so important. Saying yes to the opportunity or protecting your calendar.
Girl, go for the opportunity. Say yes. Like, you don't know what's around the corner. You have absolutely no idea. And the more opportunity you take, the more luck you have in your life.
So true. Yes, I agree. Saying yes is important, but also knowing when to protect your peace. I think there's definitely a delicate balance.
Don't jump off the cliff. But
Yeah.
you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I know so many women that are like, well, I don't know. And we overthink so much that I'm like,
You're
just say
right.
yes.
Uh-huh.
Like, if you don't like
Uh-huh.
it, you don't learn from all the things that go right in your life. You learn from the things that don't go right in your life. And sometimes you just kind of have to go through that to learn what does work for you.
That's such a great point. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, saying yes to so many different opportunities has transformed my life. So, and then last one. So, high pressure deadlines, or do you like spacious timelines?
Give me high pressure all day long. I love it. I think that's the entrepreneur in me because I need a deadline. Like, you better tell me or else I'm going to take my time. Right. Um, but
Hmm.
I think entrepreneurs are all about the challenge, and there's nothing more challenging than having a
Hmm.
deadline. So you're like, let's go. We could do this. Let's
Got
go.
to make it happen. Yes.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I mean, we could drag things on forever and ever and ever. And I'd rather not. If you tell me
Mhm.
when to do something and how to do it, then it's my job to figure out how to do that. Right. And that's where the challenge lies. And that's what I love.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes. Working through challenges it's always fun sometimes too because then the next challenge seems a little bit easier because you've been through the struggle and you know the skills and the things that you had to do to get there. So, yes, challenges always make us stronger. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. You had so many great insights. I can't wait for my audience to hear this episode. And for anyone listening, where can they find you if they wanted to connect with you more?
Sure. So Ira Speaks is my website. That's where we talk about coaching or speaking, but I want you to try Freedom Deodorant. So we're going to get you an affiliate code that you could post after this. And you know what? I'm just going to make it Samantha 20. How about that? And freedomdeodorant.com. And you could find this on Amazon, and our makeup wipes and deodorant wipes in Florida are fantastic. I'm gonna send you some. We're gonna hook you up. Don't worry. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to try it. Absolutely. I love promoting brands that are clean, that are non toxic, and that are going to help women in their health. So, thank you again for being on the show. And I'm sending everyone so much love and light.